Hi everyone, and welcome to your Reverse Garbage Queensland workshop at home. You should have received your materials by now. Hopefully you've done so you can have a really good look at all the things that we've sent for you to make with. Now remember, all those things that you've got in your materials box are all things that could have ended up in landfill, and that's what we do here at Reverse Garbage Queensland. All the things that we save from landfill we want to creatively reuse so that they can be really enjoyed and used to their maximum potential before they might head into the bin. If you make something you really love and keep for a very, very long time, then you've done your bit for our environment. So another way that we're going to celebrate our environment this Easter is by making a little Easter bilby. So we're not making a rabbit because rabbits aren't Australian. We're going to make a bilby, and the bilby is very similar to a rabbit in that it's a very small animal that is nocturnal. It likes to jump about. It has nice big ears. It has a long tail rather than a short stubby tail like a rabbit, but it likes to eat little insects and things like that. So less of the grass, but more of the ants. So here are my little samples of bilbies. I've got all different types. You can see that a bilby has a nice big long nose, okay? And we've used lots of interesting materials for you to make your bilby. So I'm going to run through a few of them with you. The things that you have in your box include things like this spool to make a nice long nose. The other things include things like some carpet and of course lots of fur. Now this little guy on the end is very special. He is made from a pair of old socks. Now we haven't included materials for you to make this little sock bilby, but if you would like to know how, then let us know and maybe we can make a workshop in future where you could make one of these little guys yourself. Okay, so I'm going to put him to the side and we're just going to look at these ones here. Okay, so on to our tools. These are the things you're going to need to do your making today. Some of the things you might have around the home, things like scissors, staplers, these are really useful, maybe a pencil and a pen, okay? We don't use sticky tape in our workshops at Reverse Garbage because it's something that is not thrown out, okay? So we don't usually have this, but I know you have it in your home and I know you like to use it. So if you need it, then go ahead and use some sticky tape today, but try not to. Challenge yourself to do something different, try something different. The other things I have are a ruler, okay? Again, not really 100% needed, but very useful. If you have a cutting mat or somewhere that you can do some cutting, that's a really good, useful thing to have. And find yourself a little bin. So at Reverse Garbage Queensland, we use these little cutaway bins. This was a milk carton and we've cut it off and made it our little rubbish bin. It's just really handy to have on the table rather than having to walk away from where you're doing your making. The other thing that you could use today is PVA or craft glue. This is probably better than a glue stick, but either would be fine. Just try and reinforce it in some other way. We are going to provide for you some other sticky materials, so some sticky tape alternatives. This one here is a sticky foam, and this one is a colourful sticker that we've cut up into little pieces. For both of these items, you'll see you peel the back off. Some of you might remember from a workshop if you've been here. The back isn't very useful, unfortunately. It's plasticized paper, so we have to put that one in the bin. Try not to let it float off into your garden or down the road or something. Pop it into the bin straight away, and then you can use either of those sticky materials for joining. They're nice and colourful and very good. These ones make really great noses, moustaches, eyebrows, things like that. You might also have some additional interesting tools at home that you could use. You don't have to have these. Please don't go out and buy them. But if you do have them, then they're handy to have for a bit of variety. So this is called a box cutter or a Stanley knife. It's very sharp, so we need to be very, very careful with it. For the littlies, make sure you're only using it with an adult present, okay? And they'll show you how to use that one. Things like this, which are pliers or wire cutters. Again, these can cut wire, so they're a little bit sharp. This one is for manipulating wire. This is a needle and thread. Again, not 100% necessary, but you never know. You might use it for something. And this one here we use a lot of, but not everyone has one. This one's cold, so that's why I'm touching it, but it's a hot glue gun, okay? It can be very handy for craft, but it's also not great for sticking everything. So don't rely on it, and certainly don't go out and buy one if you don't have one. We can do this without a hot glue gun. All right, what other tools do you have at home? Okay, so this is the box you would have received full of your materials, and I've got them out for you so that you can have a really good look, or we can have a good look together. In your box, you would have got things like the fur, which I'm sure you're really excited about, but also things like grey fabric, because bilbies are predominantly grey. If you want to make yours a different colour, that's fine. Maybe find some interesting scraps around the house, but they are a grey and pink animal. So we've got grey fabrics, we've got fur, we also have some of that carpet that I was telling you about. Now this is pretty easy to cut with scissors if you've got some really strong scissors, or you can use a Stanley knife or a box cutter if you've got your parent around. We've also got some sticky materials in here, so these are things that you peel the back off and use as a sticker for joining. We'll talk about that later, but don't use it as a whole. Cut it up into little pieces so that you've got lots and lots of little bits of sticky material to join together. We've also got some foam, which is really good. You'll see this little guy here has some foam ears, so we've just cut the foam, again, just with scissors to make these ears. Some canvas, so this is lovely, strong grey canvas. This little one here has canvas ears with a little pink inside. And you can see with this one over here how we've used the foam to make his big, powerful legs for jumping around. Now, the other interesting material we have is very useful for ears, and that's this thing here, okay? So you might get a few of these in here. All you need to do is actually cut them in half so that if you've got two nice, big, pointy ears. Now, with a bilby, they have really big ears, so don't make them little pokey ears. Make them nice and big, and if you can, maybe even add some pink inside because they've got pink ears. For the body part of your bilby, which is the place you start, we've actually mostly used a cardboard tube. So this is a big cardboard tube that we've cut up into slices like a salami, and you can use this to start your body piece. You might want to take a cup to start making it look a bit like the shape of a bilby, but this is the base of how you're going to make your bilby before you add all those lovely decorative materials. We've also included some spools, so you can see now your bilby's coming together. It's got a nice big pointy nose. You could add some of this for the ears, and now you can see how it's coming together. If you don't want to use this, you could use something like one of these plastic dome tops, and perhaps just some cardboard. So if you fold your cardboard up, you can make a nice pointy nose out of the cardboard to make your bilby. What else do we have? Whiskery materials. We've also got some pointy materials and bits and circles for eyes, all in there. So go ahead and unpack your box and see what you can find. Okay, now I'm just going to show you a few little tips if you don't have any glue on hand or you don't want to use glue for your making today. So this little bilby here with his big, powerful legs is actually made with no glue at all. What we did use a lot of was staples for the foam. Foam is really easy to staple, and also this little handy round about the house tool, a rubber band. Make sure you test to see if they're nice and strong and they're not just going to break on you, because that's a really good thing to test. So this little bilby here, I'm going to start pulling him apart, so don't freak out, but he just has a little nose that comes off like that. At the back here, he has a little bit of foam that has been cut to the right shape, and now you can see in there the cardboard tube. So the cardboard tube forms the base of that bilby. If you look underneath him here, you can see that the pieces of foam have been stapled together at the right size for that cardboard tube and then simply slid over the top of the cardboard tube. So if you work with that foam, you can achieve the same effect. Now I'm going to take his face off now, it's a bit weird. There we are. So you can see in there how the ears are just attached with a rubber band, simply by putting the rubber band over the top of these pieces of ear materials and then sliding his little face back on. Poor little guy. I'm sorry, Bilby. I don't know if you can see just there, but it's the same deal with the eyes, with the button making. So you take your little piece of wire, thread it through your button and then push it through the foam and then give it a little twist, and you can see that those eyes stay on there really, really well. Same with these big legs at the back here. We've put the wire through either side and then wound it round each other so that it's nice and strong, and that actually means that his legs can move, so that's pretty cool. Now we'll put his tail back on, shall we? Poor guy. And that's just a piece of leather with some fur for his little tail. There you go. Sorry. Okay everyone, that's the end of my instruction for you today, but I'd love to see what kind of bilbies you make at home. So please, please send the pictures of what you've made, because that's the best thing about doing workshops at Reverse Garbage, is seeing all the ideas that you can come up with that I have never even thought about. So you can see with these bilbies that they all look really different. None of them are the same in any way. Some of them have similar features, but they've got different characters. So don't hold back on making your bilby an individual. This one has a little bow. This one has different eyes. This one has lovely pink pattern fabric in his ears. This one here, we used some stuffing to make him a bit cuddly. So think outside the box, have a look at the materials you have and come up with your own bilby. Now I'm online now, if you're watching this on Thursday, to answer any of your questions or help suggest different things if you're a bit stuck on something. And if you would prefer to jump over onto our YouTube channel, RGQ TV, then you can pause the video as you go so that you can catch up to what I'm talking about. I can't wait to see your pictures. See you soon. Bye.